Okay, welcome back. I'm going to be working on the SCP D-Class stuff today. We're probably going to do the Weapons Component System Edition. Having some problems trying to compile it for mobile so I can test out and see how the mobile UMG stuff is working. Of course, as soon as I get all this set up, Unreal just stops responding. There it goes. No, it doesn't. All right. Maybe. Okay. It's just going to be really slow. Oh, dear. Maybe it'll speed up here in a second. Maybe not. This might be too much for it. I'm not pressing any buttons. I might have to just cancel this, go somewhere else. All right. Um, well, while we wait for that components tab to open, looks like this is too much for this poor little Mac. That's disappointing. Yeah, I can't even get that little drop-down menu to work. What's it say down here? Not responding. I'm gonna turn off all the different monitors. Let me add one that just records the screen real fast. Window capture, input, video, capture device. Yep. Unreal just popped back up. Oh. So that looks like that's the issue. I'll probably just have to swap back and forth real fast on which windows I have open. So if there's a little delay and stuff, sorry about that. Okay, so this is where I'm going to start over here in this window. I'm trying to get back to Unreal now. I'm still stuck over in the streaming software. Oh, come on. There we go. All right. Now then, I'm going to open up the skeleton for the weapon component system and the skeleton for the ALS. And I've already done the transfer, but I'll just show it to you real fast. I'm getting the sockets over because there are sockets added to the weapon component system for the weapons to actually attach to. So we get the weapon component added or brought up here. This is the default character, and they're real simple to bring over. I'll just do one, but you find them down here, and here's like the right shoulder spine. If I collapse all this stuff like off the clavicles, and it's spine 3, I believe it's connected to. Yeah, see, they're connected to spine 3, and you can actually just grab the socket, right click, and copy select socket, and then you actually go into the ALS base character. We can probably get there this way faster. Oh, wrong one. Give me just a second. ALS, character assets, character mesh, and I want the skeleton. Character assets, mannequin skeleton. We can actually just go over here to the skeleton, find spine 3, and oh, this one actually hasn't done it, so I'm going to have to do all of them. Paste sockets. And then down here I should have, yeah, I've got the socket down here now. And it turns out it didn't save whenever I did all this, so we'll do all of them. We got the other shoulder on the spine here. Copy selected socket. And we go up to spine 3, click on spine 3, paste selected sockets. And the holster, which goes on the right thigh. Copy selected socket, find right thigh, and paste the socket in. Now, if you come here and actually click on it, you can see I'm going to have to move it whenever we actually get the weapons on there. But I find it's just better wait till you actually have weapons in there. You can actually preview them right now. if you want and set it up. So right shoulder or right hip socket, add preview asset, and find the something like there is a rifle. I know. Yeah, there we go. But you can see I'm going to have to rotate this out a little bit just because the ALS bones aren't all in the same spot. And it looks like I'm actually going to have to flip it so that the weapon's facing forward. Okay, there we go. Now that I can actually see what we're doing here, this will be this way. It's not flip it, it's pull it down. The rifle's not the best for the hip weapon, but you kind of get an idea where it goes. But her mesh is not the same, and her skeletons aren't lined up exactly the same, but that looks pretty good. And I can toss one on each back socket now. Fine, right, add preview asset, rifle. Those are looking pretty bad right there. But then we get the other one, especially while it's jerking around because it's trying to load that mesh. And you can see that one's way down there, so that one's going to need a lot of adjustment. But this other one for the shoulder right, if I can get the camera facing the right way. The struggles are real. Alright, so that's Spinar. Should just be able to rotate this down so that it's not floating off her back like an exhaust port. But I definitely want to make these adjustments on this mesh, not the regular mannequin, because her mesh is different. So even once it's aligned for the bones and everything, it would still like stick into her and everything. But we pull it out a little bit, and she's got a rifle on her back. Oh, I grabbed the wrong one. That's the hip. I like this weapon system for this because obviously she doesn't get a lot of pockets. It's just not standard issue in a D-Class uniform, which is just a prison jumper. So I pushed that way out into space out there. That looks like it's lined up with her, and we'll pull it in this way. This is not going the direction I wanted to. That looks pretty close. Close enough to zoom in a little closer. And oh, I went through her. I went too far. Yeah, 3D space. It seems like I'm going in the wrong direction no matter what I do here. Oh man. Okay, so why is it not selecting it? There it is. This should be over back towards her. I'm gonna pull it this way because it's definitely too far out that way. Now it looks like it's gonna be too far that way because it looks like it's connected over to her foot technically. Did it get connected to her spine L? Actually, yeah, it's on her. Alright, so we're gonna actually select it, or delete this socket. Because it looks like I accidentally got it pasted on her foot. Yeah, I should have noticed that. I thought it was just offset a whole bunch at first. But we're going to get the socket spine L again. Copy that. Copy selected socket. Oops. Kind of jerking around here, as you can tell. The names of these are important because they're called specifically by their name over in the component system. Okay, spine 3, paste. And we should be a lot closer this time, because I'm not floating way out in this space. Spine L, spine R, there it is. Alright, and we'll add a preview asset, and I should just be able to rotate it kind of like I did the other one instead. Yeah. This computer gets jerky. I may have hit copy to selected bone, which is an option. Which lets you put the same socket with the same rotations and stuff on whichever bone you have selected compared to where it's supposed to go. But too far. Anyways, that gives people that are trying to catch up and find stuff plenty of time to find it. But there we go. 2 rifles. She got a right socket and a left socket. No, that's right. If you reach back with your hand, you can tell that you would actually want the handle technically in if you're going right for the handle, which is kind of how these animations work out. It's definitely not an easy reach, but she doesn't like unshoulder them and then bring them up, so that's where you would want them. Alright, so now that's saved. It'll be on that skeleton. I can actually get rid of this mannequin skeleton here, because that's the main thing I wanted it for, but I'm going to wait because it'll be a little rough. Okay, over here, on this, there are parts of these variables, which actually have different things on them. But if we go down here, you see the HUD has a replication none. So I'm going to put this right here real fast, get HUD. Let's zoom in so I'm not all out. Okay, and then random int has a it's replicated. So I'm going to put that over here. And this is just a quick way to get all these variables in there and get them on the right type. Replicated. Replication none. Replicated. And rep notify. We've got one of those. Alright, and those are basically your variables for that. That's it. We do have our current stats. Forgot about these. I thought there was a whole bunch of variables missing there. That's what I needed that drop down for. Okay. So this one's rep notify. Put it in the middle. Is dead. Replicated. Is firing. Replicated. Jump down. Replicated. But you just get them in these 3 stacks like this so that you can, what was that jump down button? Yeah. And then you can actually, whenever you copy and paste them, set them all up a lot easier. That was crouch button, sprint button. A lot of these over in the ALS, technically you can clean it up and actually replace them. It'll probably be something I do at some point. But not today, because I still need to dig through the ALS and learn what all they've changed on some of that stuff, and some of it I would need to refamiliarize anyways. But like the is dead, since I'll be using the ragdoll state, I could actually turn it into the check and see if it's in the ragdoll state. I could also actually set it whenever whenever she's ragdolled, and crouch button down and stuff. You can connect to the crouch stuff. It's not too difficult, but it's a matter of going and finding where it all is, especially since we're using stuff we didn't make. Pitch and yaw, you can actually get the rotation off the character's head, the look direction, and actually split that variable and use it for pitch and yaw. Because that is updated off of like your movement and everything, but movement speed or moving speed, a lot of these you can get off of places like that. out of the ALS because they already exist. And since I'm going to be pushing this out to a mobile, eventually I'll probably will want to do all that, just because these are just extra variables that every extra variable might just be a little bit, but it's a little bit more. And since I'll probably put like NPC guards in and stuff like that, that'll just use the same thing with just different costumes. They have pockets. I don't know why they don't put their guns in it. But this whole thing is camera active. It is cloaked. Replicated. This replicated stuff is actually for multiplayer if you're unfamiliar with it. I've never actually really gotten into it, but the whole thing is it actually has to replicate it across the server so that it knows to tell the other ones to do it and everything. Alright, so we'll copy all these. Come over here to the base character, and we'll just try to find us a space where we can paste these in. There we go. Alright, and then on each one of these, I'll right click, create variable, and we'll click on it, and I'm going to create a category weapon system. Just to keep it organized. These are the non-replicated ones first, so I don't have to change that. But category weapon system. I'd be happier if these were in alphabetical order. I get it debugs down at the bottom and stuff, but alphabetical order. Weapon system, weapon system, weapon system, about halfway down, there we go. And these are all the rep notifies. But this just brings in each variable by the exact same name, and make sure you get them set to the proper stuff, because even though it's like for multiplayer, which I won't be using, it matters and how it's set up and over in the other stuff, so you have to set it up here the same or go change it elsewhere. I will try by the time I post this, because I don't have internet right now, and so that's why it's not a stream, to remember to actually show the video I originally learned how to do this. This was probably the #1 video that helped me figure out how to actually work with the ALS also, because it just showed instead of having to retarget, you could just delete the skeleton. It showed how to add in the sockets like I just did. If you've seen any of my other stuff, you've seen me delete the skeleton. I just won't risk it right now because it does have to recalculate and resave all the animations, and we're having quite a few dragging issues today, but you can actually just go to that one skeleton that was the original mannequin, delete it, it'll ask if you want to replace it, and you pick the ALS one, hit yes, and you'll have to resave the ALS skeleton, all the animations after it's done, but it should just smooth them right over. Didn't happen whenever I tried it with her. So she's broken somewhere in her skeleton or animation stuff. I can try to fix her at some point. I might export that skeleton and try to mesh her to that just because it has less twist bones and stuff. So she might move over a little smoother. But I would like to get that actually running in there. And that way I don't have to worry about that. These are all replicated. Sorry, this is tedious, but I guess anybody else trying to keep up and everything is doing it as well. So you get to sit and do it as well and not have to worry about me just blazing past you. I do like skipping over stuff because a lot of times I just like to watch the video and go do it, and then try to scan 10 seconds forward and 10 seconds back, and I always miss what I was actually super important part. That's the fun part. Probably takes twice as long that way compared to just doing it this way. I know people say I talk fast stuff when I'm doing this. I try really hard actually to be like slow and just, but then I get frustrated when the computer freezes up, and I probably get going as fast as possible in between, so I don't feel like I'm just making you wait hours on something. I might break this up just so they're more watchable feeling chunks after I do some of the variables and get some of the stuff over here, and then do the animation graph as the second one. It's probably the best way to do it. Yeah, I'll probably do it that way. Sadly, we won't be able to really test anything out until that part, though. Okay, so that finishes up the last of the variables. Alright, they're all in there now. And then I'm just going to delete all these off the graph because they're not important, but we still got them over here in our weapon systems. Drop that open. There they all are. Alright, and then up here, character movement, BC, custom movement, we're going to actually have to add the weapons stuff. And AC character weapons is fine. And I'm pretty sure this does not have any interfaces in it. Class settings. Down here in the interface. Okay, no, BPI weapon component. So it does have the BPI weapon component, which I think I added, maybe, because I tried to add everything. Weapon component. Okay, it's already in there. That's why I was seeing this stuff over here already. But that's that. And we should still be able to compile. Alright. Alright, and then the next thing, see, they got a character weapon thing in there, component added. But we need to make sure we have all the functions the same. Under the construction script, you are going to need this, which sets the character reference off over in character weapons. So we'll copy that. And go here, find our construction script, which is right there. And I'm going to replace that variable with this ACH character weapons. Actually, let's rename this because sometimes that's kind enough to just make it work. Yeah, see, it swapped right there from gray to that and knew exactly which one it was supposed to go to. So we don't have to rename it. Alright, so that one's done now. I've got so many little windows here I can't even close the construction cry. Alright. We can't. Alright, construction and then onrep show crosshair. This is actually for the crosshair stuff. So we'll create this function real fast over there if it's not already made by the component, which it probably is, but we'll make sure everything's set up over there. Because sometimes they have to be changed. Functions. There's no onrep show crosshair. Alright. Anyway. Show sniper scope, show health, crouch. I don't know why that one actually didn't just transfer over like the rest. But, alright, show crosshair. I'm actually going to get the name of it over here, so that we can name it exactly the same. Create a new function. And we're going to take all this and put it right over there. Notice it doesn't even have a return node. But it's just called whenever it does the rep notify stuff. Alright, that's show crosshair, show sniper scope. I'll just take a quick look at it. And because sometimes you'll see stuff in here that you can tell it's not gonna like cross over well. There'll be weird variables or connections to other things, and I don't see one right now. crouch button down, and go check these. Crouch button down. See, it didn't bring crouch button down, so we'll have to copy that. Most of these probably actually aren't copied over. But as you can tell, we got a sniper scope in this now. I can't think of things I'll actually use it for, but I'll find something just so we can use it. Crouch button down. Nope. Camera boom. That will create a little bit of an issue for me. I might actually end up having to go back and compile everything from the child class into this one just so there is a camera boom. But I'm not even sure where they're updating some of the camera stuff in here. But I should be able to put a camera in here and delete it in the other one and do pretty well. So we're going to do a add component right now. Spring arm. Where's my spring arm? There it is. Spring arm, and we'll name it camera boom. So that it'll fix that right there, and we'll make sure it's attached to the character mesh. And on mobile, I found actually just like a 500 is a nice starting target arm length. We'll deal with it later, and eventually over in that tap to, or the pinch to zoom, that's what we'll set, is going to be this target arm length. Yeah, I'll probably have to go find where the camera is in the other one, because there's obviously not a camera on this one, and delete it and just have it set to this mesh, and it should be fine because that mesh should be what's swapping out in the other one. Or just changing that in the child class. Alright, what was that other one I haven't checked? Sniper scope. Let's make sure it's in there. I'm sure it's not. It just looked like one this should copy over, but it's probably not over here at all. So sniper scope. Yeah. I always feel like they should just come in whenever you do the add the component and everything with the full graph, but it seems like it doesn't. Maybe Unreal will do something about it later. It works. Current health. This is not real important since we've done the widget stuff. So this right here, like I'll have to actually go and combine the two heads-up displays so that you have the two weapons and everything, or the weapons and the one we're working on, because their weapon one is pretty nice. It's got little transparent or translucent diagrams of the weapons and ammo display and everything. It's not extremely mobile friendly, but we can push them together. But this, yeah, we'll get these two HUDs put together, and we'll just change the reference to the HUD in theirs to ours, and it'll work fine. But for now, I am going to go ahead and copy this just so we have it. And if you're not following my UI tutorial also, you'll just know to do that. And where was it? Update health. Yeah. Okay, no ammo and current weapon. It says hello. All right. I will find a dry fire sound eventually, put it in there. I'll probably actually split all that kind of stuff in the actual weapons eventually, so that whenever you, that function's not even here. All right, so no ammo and current weapon. Copy. And I lost the other window. There it is. Alright, let me get these back together so that they can be seen. And then double check in the software and make sure it still kept that window and didn't try to like use a window that's not here. Okay, it's still showing it. Alright. No ammo, current weapon. I like in there to either put a dry fire sound or a sizzle for some of the weapons that it has, like the lightning gun. Hang on, why is that one? What's the target for that? Target self. There should be a fire function. Okay, we'll have to copy the functions over and stuff. So this one right now isn't even going to be recognized because it's a function that isn't available yet. Alright, but that is... Alright, check not dead. We do have to make that macro. We do have to check all these interfaces to make sure that they're all plugged in right. Oh, wait, these all go to the other ones, don't they? They open up other stuff. Okay, yeah, you have to actually check and make sure because it's going to want the current health, all that stuff on each one of these. Is character cloaked? Is cloaked? Got to make sure all your variables are plugged in. Yeah, it can be a little tedious, but it's definitely faster than trying to code it all yourself to be able to incorporate these. And once you learn how to do them yourself and you make one, if it works great, there's really just not a reason to go back and rebuild some of them. Graph not editable, but what if I want to put it in a group over here? Like, it doesn't. These are in a group. Alright, so what do we have here? We got current health. Current health C, and then I need to find my variable down here that I'm using for health. Current health. I think I have two variables for that now floating around. One for theirs, one for mine. Because I got the UI system going over there. So what we'll actually do is see if I can find the. It's under character stats. Yeah, health. Right here, we can actually go and hit find references. And since there's actually just replicates across stuff, get health right here. And you can actually grab current health, and you drag it on top of it, see if it'll work here. Change node to read current health, see? There we go. And then set health. Right there, and we can actually grab the current health, drag it over, make health current equals execute. Whoops. Alright, set with notify. There we go. But we can actually connect these in like this, and now it's, you get out of the way. We can actually get rid of that variable now, and our stuff will actually still use the current health. There we go. And it was, ours was just health, yeah. We can actually delete that one now. Since it's not used anywhere, I'm going to hit a compile and a save real fast just in case I freeze up. So slow feeling. Alright, is cloaked. Do all that stuff real fast. Alright, I'm going to close a bunch of these windows since we're about to open up all of those. It's got all these little tabs open, then player input graph, construction script. We don't need all these right now. And that's it. Alright, so we got is cloaked. Right there, get character current camera, get character current weapon, get character has weapon, is sprinting, all this stuff actually goes off to the animations that are used by this. We probably won't return this death animation right here. I'll go ahead and just plug it in. That's that random int. But character play animation, jump animation, is crouching, is character dead, get character speed and direction, get character current weapon, get character mesh, see, and then it's character initialization. No, wait, that's not what I actually need. Set HUD. But go down here and cloaking. I kind of want to use. I haven't really thought of a SCP to use it for. If anybody has one, that's great to allow them to just run around and be cloaked for some stages. I think it might be fun. I'm sure there is one that makes people invisible. One Ring the Rule of them all or something. But there's so many SCPs. I've been trying to read some of them, and it's kind of actually difficult because there's just so many. Okay, get current camera. I can go ahead and add a camera to this because I will need a camera to actually get current camera. And you'll notice there's not actually a camera variable, but I can pull that one out, put it here, put this here. So that's our current camera, so it'll know which camera we're actually using for all this stuff, because it'll zoom in whenever like the weapon cam is active for the scope and everything. And that'll be for like the sniper scope whenever it's all set up and done, and then the aim mode will just zoom that camera in. We'll have to play with some of that stuff, bring the other stuff over here, compile it down to 1. Just because this stuff is going here and it does involve parts of the controls and stuff. Otherwise I could put it in the child class. Still can, just I don't have a lot of reason to need those split up. Some of this stuff wouldn't be used on NPCs, but alright, so character weapon component reference, that's going to be our character weapons up here. So they know which, it's this one, it's this character's weapon component reference is what that does. Which one was this? Has weapon. Oh shoot, I gotta go back to that one. I'm sorry. What was that? That wasn't current health. That wasn't custom movement. Was it character has a weapon? No, current camera. I actually have to put the bool on there for the weapon camera is active. There we go. It doesn't just set over there. There's a reason they exposed that. Alright, I'm trying to save a whole bunch because it is going so slow. But we got that now. Skeletal mesh, I should be able to hopefully just pull this mesh out down here and make it fit. Yeah, it's skeletal mesh. I didn't think they put in a static mesh and then added the other one, deleted that, but that's in there now. So that'll reference, this is the skeletal mesh that's taking the stuff. The weapon component system actually has finger offsets and everything to make sure the hands are in the right spot of the guns. Works if you add later guns and everything. Weapon reference. There should be a current weapon in here variable that we have now. Weapon component, random int, save body material. I'm not seeing it. I'm not seeing it. Alright, I'm going to come back to that one after I don't have a whole bunch of windows open. Alright, speed, direction. We made those somewhere. I remember pulling them out. Did I not get them made? Essential information, speed. I can just pull that right off the ALS version 4 unless the stuff's changed, so I don't need the other one. There it is, essential information, speed. And then I should be able to get a direction. It's probably why I didn't copy over. It was probably already a pull up this one. Come on. Alright, I'm going to have to find direction. We're going to go ahead and make the direction variable real fast. Make the variable, we can split them up later, clean it up, but just so in case I forget it, it at least gets pushed over to the animation stuff. I was pretty sure we made that. That is, yeah, no replication, no replication. This is under the weapon system. The other one is actually taking off the essential information of the ALS. There should be a, there's not a direction under there. There is a rotation under here somewhere. Rotation mode change, set limit rotation, target rotation, yaw offset, desired rotation, nope, last velocity rotation. I think this might be it. Let's check it real fast. I'm going to leave this just floating here right now because I'm pretty sure that's the one no, because it's got pitch and stuff. One of these, there's actually a vector in here that has the direction and location unless he's changed it. But since he's now got like the arm swinging and stuff, I think I'm going to move it to that rotator as a full rotation instead of just a vector so that it has a down movement, how fast you're going down, especially with break fall and everything. So I might have to experiment and find out what it is. I think that might be it, the last velocity rotation, because you can get the speed and direction off of that and all that stuff. Asphalt. Sure sounds like it, but I'm not sure, so instead of breaking this right now, we'll just create it and follow along. I'm a horrible tutorialist. Character is dead, that's easy enough. Connect the character is dead over here. Weapon system. Is dead. He's crouching. Crouch button down. I hate that it takes me 3 or 4 tries to actually get stuff where it's supposed to be. It is jumping. Jump button down. There we go. Play animation is playing animations. A lot of these are montages and stuff for like pulling out the weapons. So it needs to know it actually is in the middle of those, so it stops other stuff. Pitch and yaw, those were brought right in. That's probably where I can plug in that rotator. Exactly, but there should be a couple places where it puts in information on the other stuff, and you can actually just get it all like stuck in one spot. And it's more efficient that way. There might end up being a cleanup video to do some optimization. People do them. I know it's not the best form. It's better to have it right off the start. But I'm sure even after I do this and do that, somebody will be like, "This is even better," and it'll be like cleanup version 2. Play number death animations. I won't be using these. I'm just gonna ragdoll. But that's what this random int is right here. They have several different death animations put in there, and it'll randomly select this number when you die and play that animation. I mean, it's not bad, but I just like the ragdolls better, especially whenever I have explosions or anything. Looks better. There are some ways they can land that are very weird, but at least it's humorous along the way. I bet everybody's familiar with the giants in Skyrim. And that is ragdolling, and that is why ragdolling should be the default and like industry standard. Get character has weapon component. That's the one I'm having issues with. What is plugged into this one? Get character has character weapon component. What did they plug into this? Okay, character weapons is valid. Alright, I get it. That's right, this one is actually checking to make sure that it has it. Make sure it has a valid weapons component. I think this one's the function, yeah. Take the function version of this right here, and that's that portion of that. Alright. And I need like all of these closed. Close other tabs. That'll work. Or it won't. There we go. Alright, if we go up here to the event graph now, you got some stuff. You got spawn my weapons, all that kind of stuff. Event tick. Let's check and see what's on event tick. And there's a little bit, and that's to check not dead. And it'll event tick it over to the server. It is required to have that stuff event tick to the server on tick, otherwise it won't update. Checking if dead is just a bool. But that's that macro, check if dead, and I can actually end up probably getting that ragdoll in there, but because we're already checking for it, I'm just doing a little simple branch right here. Got to get up here where I can make me some macros. You'll see I don't have a check is dead, but check is dead. It's always tempting to just put everything on event tick, but it's horrible practice. Don't do it. Let's name this right. Otherwise, I'll look at it and be like, oh, why does it say that check is not dead? I can easily change that over there, but let's just keep it simplified. Alright, and so we just output true. And that's it. Over here, though, I'm going to actually, on the false, we're going to create a custom event over that. Do this real fast. Event graph. And ragdoll. Ragdoll start. Is that the one I want? Nope. That's fine. That's actually find references. Ragdoll start right here. Okay, so it's already got a ragdoll start, and it looks like it will be clear character movement mode and set the mesh moment state to ragdoll. Disable capsule collision and enable mesh physics and stop any active montages. So we can actually just call right off of that check not dead on the false and be ragdoll start. And now whenever you're dead, it'll ragdoll start. Then we're going to have to go find the tick. And this isn't too bad for an event tick because it's just mostly checking is a character dead, let everybody know on the server whether or not that character is actually dead. And that's pretty essential, and you got to check it constantly. Otherwise, you'll just have dead players killing other people. Check is not dead. that also will stop all this other stuff over here, do every frame and all that stuff that it doesn't need for all that, because it'll just be ragdolling. Alright, and then it's actually going to be, what was that? It's server update. Yeah, event tick on server. Copy this since that didn't pop right up. It's probably not happy that I not set up over here on this thing. Wow, that didn't even bring that node over? Come on. It's like whenever Android's like, copied, and then it didn't copy it. There we go. And tick on server, and it doesn't like that. It's not custom. Oh, it's a custom event. I'm sorry. I knew that. Alright, most of this is actually just going to copy and paste over, but we'll do it a little section at a time. The movement input, sprinting, all that stuff actually has to be incorporated. Aim zoom, we already have a aim mode, and so we got to finesse those together a little bit so that it'll do the right thing. So like switch weapons over here. Oh man, this stuff. You got a whole bunch of keys that need to be pressed, pick up weapons, all that stuff. And you can see there's custom events in here. Alright, so that's actually a custom event. Event tick on server. I was thinking that was for some reason I was thinking that was the default thing that actually sends everything to server, but that's actually what the information they're sending on the notifies and stuff over. So hopefully you want to make a true multiplayer game. I do like that they actually went ahead and set all this up for that, because most of the blueprints on the store are not like that, but there's that. So event tick on server. We'll hold on to this down here. Okay, we're in the tick graph right now, so I'm gonna move this down right here and just go ahead and put this in the same kind of area. As soon as I find the event tick on server stuff. Alright, switch has authority, calculate direction, get velocity, all that stuff is in there. It sets the control rotation, just make sure it all goes over to the server, so that if you're not dead, it does all this and it figures out which way your character's facing to tell all the other players which way you're facing. And that's basically all that does. Before I package this for mobile and stuff, since I won't be having multiplayer, I'll probably rip that stuff off because there's no server. But that just gives you how to put it in here. You can delete all that if it's going to be a single player game, because none of that actually goes to the animation graph. As you can see, it's just setting all this character's information for everybody else on each tick. The only reference in here even is your own character mesh to send it over right here. And then getting the animation instance off them to actually send it off. They can see all your animations, all that kind of stuff. Nope. Set moving direction. Not find variable. Nope, we'll just make that one real quick. Not sure how I missed that one. Gotta let it compile. Alright, so that was event tick stuff right there. That was all the tick stuff, wasn't it? Event tick, check not dead, event tick, and that's it. Alright. Just because it's how I tend to do these, because I can always just bring the weapon component back in. I find it's easier once I complete something like that if I actually just delete it. It's off the graph now. And then we got some begin play over here. Alright. You actually have to save the default mesh colors and everything, which is this stuff right here for cloaking and uncloaking, because you got to know what they look like before. If you do any outfit change while cloaked, you actually have to update this. Hold from player controllers, you set the actual events PC HUD, event character initialization, spawn the weapons, because there's actually weapons on the back and everything. If you're going to have the preset weapons on them or anything, they show up, and also if you have any kind of persistence between levels that changes that, that's where that spawns them back on there whenever they're loading in. Is the spawn my weapons. And then the character, spawn characters, weapons, as you can see, it's just right here. This is the actual event that spawns them. But like these portions, the event begin play, just save the mesh under the play. That's once whenever it starts. There's nothing special there. It's just important because if you cloak and uncloak and you haven't done that, you just don't even know what material goes on there. You're probably going to get the world default. Alright, this stuff right here. Nope. Should just be able to copy and paste it right over. Looks like I might have to change some stuff in the player controller though. It's been a while since I've done this. I kind of watched the video halfway through and was like, yeah, I remember this. And I remember most of it. Oops. Alright. Comment that as the spawning weapons. Yeah, that's the weapons now spawn. Came right over, except for this right here, spawn my weapons. But you can see it's got the custom event right there. So events don't like to transfer like that. Sometimes you can get them to update reference or whatever, but it's easier usually just to not even try because it almost never does, and just spawn my weapons. Because whenever I copied it over, it brought it right over. Let's see. So that came right with it. And that's basically what you do for the rest of this graph until we get to some complex stuff. If I could actually pause the recording, I'd probably pause the recording right here until I got to this stuff where you actually have to incorporate it. That's an hour. So we might take a break there, and I'll go just the stuff that straight copies over, and I'll try to put it all in a column to show it on the part 2 that those just straight copy over without any difficulties. And then the portions that you actually incorporate into the like crouching and everything into the graph like that, I will save those and do those then. For now, this is my theme song. I know it's not long, but it is my theme song.